What's up, everybody, and thank you for listening to Mastering the Mindset. My name is Darius Dotch, and I'm an actor, hip-hop artist, and fitness and life coach. And I'm here to personally help you train and improve your mindset so that you can, 1, become the best version of yourself mentally, and 2, gain focus and motivation to be able to take action and achieve the success in life that you want and deserve. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel, and at the end of this episode, if you liked it, please share it with a friend or a loved one or someone who would benefit from hearing this message. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm ready to go on this journey with you, and that journey begins now. All right, now this episode is definitely an important one. I think most all of us have been here before. But for whatever reason, we as humans, no matter how well the situation may be going, no matter if we've even started or attempted to try something different or go after something, or especially if the situation has a possible negative outcome, we tend to always assume the worst. We always assume something is going to go wrong, something is going to happen. We always feel that something is going to mess up, that things will be hard, that things will turn out negatively. Or another thing we do, when we realize that things are going good for us and they've been good, we start waiting for the bad to come. As if there's this rule of life that says you can't always have a good thing. Who said that things can't always go well? Like there's this universal law. Where does that come from, right? Now, we have a deep internal fear of always looking for something to go wrong or bad. And that is because that is a way of survival. That's what our brains look for. No matter how well things are going, especially if things happen to be going bad, we're always waiting for the next thing to come out of nowhere and punch us in the face. And I prove it. Now, I don't have kids, but I see this so many times. And you may have done this yourself, especially when your kids are really young and you're at that stage when you truly enjoy just watching them sleep, right? And you feel all the love and joy of being a parent, and you feel all this love for them. That's your baby. And you feel all the feels, right? Then you think to yourself, what would I do if I ever lost them? Here you are in this beautiful moment of just absolute love. And you think to yourself, I hope I never lose them. I hope they can stay healthy. Have you ever done that? And maybe you don't have children. Maybe you've been in a relationship with somebody and it's going really good. And it was new. And you're both having fun and enjoying your time. And then you randomly think, I hope I don't mess this up. Or I wonder what it's going to be like in our first argument, right? Or I hope they don't do me wrong. Have you ever been in that situation? Have you ever done it to yourself where you're just waiting for something negative to happen? What that is doing, by letting these imaginary moments that haven't even happened take up space in your minds, is it's literally, it's literally pulling yourself away from a beautiful present moment and ruining it for your happiness. By not just being present and enjoying the good in what's happening for you now and expecting the bad, you are robbing yourself and destroying your happiness. Robbing yourself from having happiness and destroying that happiness. In those moments, you should be the most present because those moments are necessary and they should be savored. And again, you should be the most present during these times in your life. So why do people feel this way? Where does that come from? It has to be something that's learned, right? Something that's part of our nature and inside our brain. This comes from what's called a scarcity mindset. The mindset of thinking that something negative is bound to come because there isn't enough good to go around all of the time. And where do we learn that? When did this become how we identify life and happiness? Now, one of the most common phrases we hear, or at least some version of this phrase, is the notion that in order to have success or attain anything good during your journey, you'll have to take 3 steps forward and 1 step back, right? Or you have to take this many steps forward and then this many steps backwards, right? There's always this quote unquote forward and back, right? And yes, that is true for the most part. You will have setbacks. And I talk about that all the time. And those are to be expected. But the most important thing here is perspective. Perspective and perception. And the quote unquote step back you feel is our perception. That step back could just be a redirection in the correct way that you should be doing things. What it could be, and how you should look at it, is a detour to getting you on a path you really need to be on. The universe could be saying maybe it's time to pivoting towards your right path. Because if it's one thing I always say is that your path is unique and your path is your own. Think about that step back like this. When you shoot a bow and arrow, you have to pull that arrow backwards, right? There is no way that arrow will go forward unless you first pull it back. And what happens after you pull it back? It gets propelled forward. It goes forward and even further than it would have if it never went backwards. What's up? I want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for listening to this episode, and to also let you know that this podcast is 100% donation driven, which means it's completely funded by you, the listener. So if you like the content I have to offer, I would love it if you can make a donation and you get to pick the amount. I left links in the description of the video as well as my homepage. You can choose which way benefits you the best to donate. And if you need more options, please feel free to email me at dariusdotch@gmail.com. That's DariusDotch@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for being here, and let's get back to it. So we have to have two different ways to look at these moments in your journey, at those step backs. It could be that the redirection you need to correctly map out your path. And it may be and can be what you need to propel you forward in such a way that you couldn't do without first having to move backwards. And that step back, or better yet, that set back, is preparing you to fly further into the future. And the thing is, something that we talk about at an endless amount of times on here, but during these moments in your past, when you are experiencing those setbacks, while you're in it, it's hard. It takes a toll on you, right? It's not a good feeling, and it's definitely not fun. But when you look back at it 5-10 years down the road, after you've come out of it, you look at it and you say, I hated going through that moment, but there is no way in hell I would wish all that lessons and all the things I learned away from that moment. No way I would take away all the things and all the ways I've grown from it, because it is who I've become because of that. Those lessons are the things the universe gives you so that it can propel you. So instead of looking at it as a setback, look at it as a new lesson that the universe is giving you so you can make a shift in your life so that you can change the path you are currently on. And really what it mostly comes down to is what you focus on the most. The most. So ask yourself this question. What am I focusing on? When you go through your day, are you focusing on the things you're afraid of? On all the things you don't want to happen? On all the negative things you see or feel? And I talk about this all the time, but you better believe if you are only focusing on all the things you don't want, if you're only focusing on all the things you're afraid of or things that can go wrong, you will attract those things in your life. Our brains are like magnets. We attract what we focus on. You will get what you are focusing on. And there's an analogy I like to use that's applied in race car driving. And that analogy is, don't focus on the crash. Meaning, in the sport of race car driving, there will no doubt be a crash. That's almost inevitable depending on the type of race, right? And race car drivers who are close to a crash, they don't look at it. They look past it. And they do this because if they look at the crash in front of them and they're focusing on it, they will start to drift towards that crash. Their focus brings them closer to the crash, closer to disaster, closer to failing. And it's a subconscious thing. So, again, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the bad, the things you're afraid of, your insecurities and all of your fears? Or are you looking to the places that you want to be, your vision, the life you want to create for yourself? Are you looking at all the ways you can accomplish your goals? If you were to shoot a basketball, Would you look at the ball in your hands or would you look at the basket, right? Where you want the ball to go. You don't look at where the ball is and only focus on the fact that it's not actually in the basket. No, you look at the basket and you take your shot. So if you're trying to create the life you want, shouldn't you look at your goals? See what I did there? So what are you focusing on the most? And I can't stress enough how important that is to ask yourself that question. Imagine this. Imagine how it would feel if you never worried about something. If you never worried about something going wrong, how do you think that would feel? How weird would that feel, right? If you never actually worried about anything going wrong. If you just believe that God or the universe or the own power of yourself or whatever you believe in is going to make it happen. It's going to get that bill paid. It's going to create that business. It's going to bring you that relationship. It's going to provide you with all the things you need, the children you want, the finances you want, and you believe that it's just going to happen. What if you woke up every day with that kind of confidence that, hey, I'm going to get what I want? And the reasons why I'm going to get what I want is because I wake up, I write my goals down, and I focus on them. Because how could I hit my goals if I'm not looking, if I'm not focusing on them? What if you walk through life that way? How much negativity could you possibly attract to yourself if you thought that way? Now, I'm not saying that negative things won't happen in life because life is life. Life isn't fair. We all know that, but we also know that we will attract the things we focus on. And if you focus on how things will go wrong, things will go wrong. So what if you never worried about those things? Hypothetical question. Yes. Is it impossible to never worry? Probably is impossible to never worry, but consider the alternative. Consider the way you've been living your life. So I'll leave you with this. And this is a guarantee. If you put all of your energy on your goals, if you write them out, if you put energy and focus on them and focus on it because you believe that this is where you were going, and if you put all of that energy into that one thing, you will get it. And I guarantee that. And understand and know that it won't happen overnight, but know that if you make the effort and you work on it, you will get what you want. So that's what I got for you today. If you like this episode, please share it with somebody that can benefit from this, somebody who is a friend or a family member, somebody who has goals and is trying to improve their lives. So thank you again, and let's get it in.